This is the south, very important. This is the north. Here is the east. And there is the west. One of the main problems here is that this town was cut off from civilization, practically to speak, from 1944-45, definitely 1945 to 1989, was a double military zone. That meant we're right on the border. You'll see that we're so close to the border that there was mainly military personnel here in between the time. Iron Curtain, and Iron Curtain meant Iron Curtain. There was barbed wire, there were minefields, soldiers everywhere, and it was impenetrable.
Okay, this is the part of the Iron Curtain, which is made again on original place. Where was it? If somebody wants to go over, here comes the contact, and the signalization will start to working. Those bunkers was built up in the, I think, 35 or till 38, before the World War II starts. So they built up the 10,000 of those small bunkers. And 260 those bigs which are on this.
And then when it opened up in 1989, people were going, whoa, what is this here? Yeah? When you go to other towns, you will see one building, two buildings that are intact in that way, but you will not find such an intact town core to study. Whenever you walk around here, every house practically has a detail of interesting history. So on these houses are sometimes up to 7 different layers of facade because of the age. So when he took that off, look at that, what came up is this medieval fresco. Slavonice is known around Europe and in various other places by now for its graffito facades. And now Tom is going to take a group into the underground and we've got to split up.
Who wants to go to the tower can go now. 1945 will be open the tower. Yes. So, let's follow. One of the places will be very, very tiny. So, but you okay.
Well, that's a green one too. Is it small?
I need the big one. Yeah,
okay, is that the right size?
I believe. Oh, I'm sorry.
It is, yeah, okay.
Slavonice is one of the few places in the whole region, Austria or Czech, where people actually move into to have the kids here, because it's safe and there is community. So sustainability here is a day-by-day kind of thingy. It's not something esoteric.
And so all of us are staying there.
Okay.
So
You went down there, you don't know.
We've got a much higher loss of demography over there, so that most of the young people, we're losing 10 to 50% every year, still. On the Czech side, it's not that bad.
Every year 20 people leaving from Slavonice, so it's less and less. Yeah? This is like the last 20 years trend.
Is there a quick answer to why?
Yes, no jobs.
But it's a global trend.
Yeah. I am an optimist. I think as things get more difficult in the big cities, people will start to move back to the countryside. At least you can grow some food here, if you still have some land. Or as Tom says, you better learn how to shoot.
Welcome to the Museum Humanum. I'm glad to have the opportunity to meet you. I would like to know more about you. Where do you come from?
There are 4 different universities here. 2 from the United States, well actually 5. 2 from the Czech Republic and 1 from Austria. And there are also Erasmus students from different places of the world, like France, for example. So it's a very international group. It's also interdisciplinary because we have architects, landscape architects, landscape ecologists, and urbanists, and what am I forgetting? Designers, yes. So.
The Museum Humanum seeks to give expression to the ancient conviction that the fight for survival must be fought by intellectual means. The collection seeks to contribute to an anthropological understanding of art, so the museum shows examples of the evolution of art.
I want to welcome you in the museum, in the town museum of Waidhofen. It's a little museum. It's in a house built for a family in the 1880s. Nearby Waidhofen, in a forest, we found some years ago a lot of things going back to the year around 1000. These people were coming from the north. They were Slavic origin. They lived here, they built small villages with houses and with little castles all made of wood. These, the German people, the Bavarians, were able to occupy this region, but the time before Slavic people lived here.
There are not many cemeteries, Jewish cemeteries, in such a good state anywhere in Europe. Many of those cemeteries were destroyed, stones were taken and appeared again in fences. Here there is still, I would say, a quiet respect and reverence for this very special place that people also come and draw here and sit here and enjoy it for the beauty of it.
And we have now both groups back together again. I would like to just jump into the presentations and then we can have some brief summary discussion at the end, hopefully, because they're intended to be a group of 5 interrelated initiatives or interventions that are viewed by the entire Sustainable Futures Workshop group to be those most critical for moving Slavonice and the area towards a sustainable future.
The population of Slavonice is on a slow decline and the economy is somewhat stagnant. We believe that the city has great potential for prosperity.
We believe that the most important part of this is the community. And in order to measure the process and our progress, we have to see prosperous businesses going on in the environment, population growth, as well as increase in average annual incomes and a lower unemployment rate.
There is no strong rail connection to Slavonice, although it is pretty much smack in the middle of all of them. So that was really a driving force for trying to create a stronger rail connection between Slavonice and the surrounding city.
We're also looking at pedestrian mobility and also bike mobility. This shows the bicycle routes, the main ones in Europe. And it's in a fairly good location, actually, near kind of like this hub right here. So in more of a broader spectrum, it's in a fairly good location. But we were trying to improve more of like the local routes in the area.
Our proposed intervention should be a central market that could be started off at a once a week or twice a week, and maybe eventually move to a daily market if there was enough need or desire for it.
Profit to the farmer has to be incorporated. You need profit to the vendor that is selling the goods. You're going to need a lower user and cost for the consumer of whatever product that they're buying. If you have an increase in demand for these products and this market, then you know it's working. And finally, revenue to the city. If we can get Slavinese onto that model, you may just get tourists in for that reason.
Okay, so our intervention is for the increase of tourism.
We don't want to be the second Český Krumlov. We want Slovenians to be the first Slovenians.
Tourists explore the heritage of this town. It has a lot to offer, and they want to see and pursue the curiosity and the history of this place.
So our presentation is on the education of sustainability.
We want people of Slavinese to be able to make decisions on their own and not being told what to do.
In a lot of ways, the education, it helps, it's like a promoter of all the other interventions that could happen.
We want the people, like the community, to be able to engage in that discussion in order to figure out what plan or what approach works best.
If this town became a focus and like a huge example of sustainable practices, then this could definitely be like a conference city that they could come in, and this would bring a lot of tourism and revenue to the area.
The changes that we make through one project have effects that go far beyond the boundaries of that one project. Part of what we should be responsible for is the consequences of those actions that affect the health of the entire organism, the entire town. What is the relationship between this project and the place where I'm putting it, the impact it's going to have, the contribution it's going to make, and the drain that it may have? Does it fit? Does it make sense? So the intention of this workshop is to give you an opportunity to think about things at that scale so that you're prepared to ask those questions, to make the things that you do responsible.